gentleman from Alaska, Mr. Begich, for his 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First question here to Chief Munsey. One of the key Alaska wins in this bill is the formal authority for tribal and state governments to enter into shared stewardship agreements that cross jurisdictional lines. That's a game changer for places like rural Alaska, where multiple entities manage a single fire-prone landscape. How important is this type of intergovernmental coordination for getting work done quickly on the ground, in your view?
Sir, it's of critical importance. End of statement. Let me expand. This year, I've had our Board of Supervisors allocate $500,000 simply for a study of how we bring federal, state, tribal, local governments together to first decide on what good looks like in an interagency fashion. Often we see siloed efforts within the CEs that may be granted. Some of this is tied up with legislation, but it's a patchwork quilt that's not very well stitched together. So the first would be to bring those parties together to decide what good looks like. The second part of that study will look at the regulatory environment. What I'm very hopeful for is that with a bill like the Fix Our Forests, that we're able to bring the technology where we can create a one-stop shop for agencies to move through the permit process to understand this regulatory environment. The third portion of this study is to find out what funding is needed today to completely protect our county, again, jurisdictionless. The fourth is the maintenance of the work that we do. What's the maintenance schedule? And this is critical because often we do these fuel projects, but then a couple of years go by, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they're erased, like the picture I showed from the 1930s. The final stage is what is the maintenance dollars that need to be set aside on an annual basis to make sure that the efforts that we do today are sustainable in the future.
Thank you. Additional question, and I'll open up for anyone who'd like to answer. Another Alaska win in the bill is the Fire Shed Registry, a public map showing what areas have been treated, what projects are in the pipeline, and how well they're working. As someone, as folks who are focused on public accountability, how do you see this kind of tool changing the game for communities trying to understand where their risk and progress really stands?
Let me help on that one real quick. We use a common operating picture of the Angels National Forest, the San Bernardino National Forest. The Angels National Forest was where the Eaton Fire Palisades were burning. San Bernardino National Forest, both are in our jurisdiction. San Bernardino is the most heavily recreated lived-in forest. We work with both of those agencies closely, but there is no common operating picture that allows us to share what our fuel management efforts are. So this year, we're paying $250,000 for that common operating picture because the federal government agencies lack the ability to adopt technology. So we pay for them to use this technology so that we can congruently plan for the future.
Anyone else like to weigh in on that?
I was going to jump in on that, but that was pretty good. I would just say that this is really helpful from a prioritization standpoint, but also really necessary from an accountability standpoint. We don't have a really good grasp of what we're doing on the ground right now across jurisdictions, and that's a huge problem.
Thank you very much. And I will yield the balance of my time, Mr. Chair.